Thank you, Ms. Hess, for letting us be here. I'm joined by Mrs. Morden, one of our counselors. So, good morning, seniors. I know, like Ms. Hess said, we would normally have more time. But we still really think that this information is very valuable to you. We will make this available on Google Classroom, and we highly encourage you to be checking Google Classroom on a regular basis. We're always posting new information on scholarships, workshops. You have it. So, and there's also information from Mrs. Alexander every now and then in there too. So please check those. We can definitely get into specifics when we meet for your senior evaluation. We meet. You should be being your counselor will be communicating with you. Um, Probably via email, like setting up a time, and just make sure that you meet with your counselor so you can get those questions answered. So to start us off, we really highly encourage you to really start thinking about that future, your post-high school goals. So, we highly encouraged you last year during your junior eval and even beginning of this year to challenge yourself and to have that challenging schedule to include all your A through G classes, that fourth year of math, fourth year of science, and foreign language. And if it was possible, we also, thought it would be a great idea for you to try some honors, AP, and dual enrollment. Um, we do still encourage you to get involved. Mrs. Alexander put out her club brush. So if you're interested in what clubs are being active right now, that would be a great resource for you to take a look at and reach out to the advisor of the club that you are interested in. So, have that connectedness to school. Then we also are, this is a time that you really need to solidify that college list, find out what the admission requirements are for the school that you are intending to go to. Um, Start really focusing in on that major that you want to focus on and at the university level. And then, start thinking also like how far you want to live. So what campus, how far do you want your campus to be? How big do you want that to be? Are you looking for big class sizes? Are you hoping to have the same kind of feel as to what you have right now? So that's something that you need to start looking into. And also take advantage of virtual college fairs. We have something posted on Google Classroom for that. Virtual tours, CCGI, and take advantage of our college and career guest speaker series. We had CBU a couple weeks ago. We have UTI coming next week. We have Cal State San Bernardino coming next week. And Mrs. Morden is also coordinating with other admission officers from different universities to come and speak to you. So please check Google Classroom for those. I'm going to hand it off to Mrs. Morden to talk about the university systems.
Hi, good morning. I know there's been some confusion again this year because we've changed caseloads once again because Mr. Smith retired. So there's only 4 of us now. So if you are not sure who your counselor is, you can email the one that you knew before, and that counselor will put you in touch with your current counselor. So I wanted to start actually with community colleges. So if we could go back one slide, Mr. Ramirez, that would be awesome. Okay. Our local community college is College of the Desert, so I will reference that because most of our students go to, if they stay local, they go to College of the Desert. But this pertains to all community colleges in California. And there are 116 of them, which is quite a lot. So if you want to go to another community college, this just happens to be our local one. So I will talk about College of the Desert, like I said. And then if you want to apply to a different community college, it pretty much pertains to all of them, all 116 of them. There's no application fee, so I highly suggest and recommend to my students that they do apply to College of the Desert, even if they're not thinking about staying, just because it's free and it's a backup. So it's a safety net. So if something happens and you're not able to go to the college, your dream school, let's say it's in Santa Barbara, and you're not able to go, or something happens where you go and you have to come back, you've already applied and you don't have to wait a whole application cycle. So I even had my own children apply to College of the Desert as a backup. Enrollment at College of the Desert would be a high school graduate or 18 and over. They offer two different pathways. One is associate's degree, which is a 2-year degree, typically. It's 60 units to transfer to a 4-year school, or a certificate program. So say you want to do culinary. You wouldn't go to a 4-year school to do a culinary program, but you could start, let's say, at COD and get a certificate. And then if you wanted to transfer to a culinary program after that, or get a job right out of that. The certificate programs, and there's probably around 30 to 40 certificate programs at College of the Desert alone. You can get a job right out of that program, and you wouldn't have to focus on the English and the math and all of those prerequisites. You would focus on the classes that you need to get that certificate. We have a lot of students that go there first because it's affordable. We'll talk about the pledge program, but and then they transfer to UC schools and also Cal State University schools. They also have a program called EOPS. It's for low-income first-generation students. I get this question a lot because I have students that think that they're not first generation because their brothers or sisters went to college and got a degree. If your parent, it has to do with your parents. So if your parents did not get a degree, they could have gone to college and had some college but didn't finish and got their degree, you would still be first generation college student. So keep that in mind. That program would offer academic tutoring, financial assistance, and so forth. So you would apply to College of the Desert, let's say first, and then you apply to the EOPS program. And then the last thing on that slide that I can see is the COD Pledge and EDGE program. The Pledge program states that for those students that are attending Valley schools, that you would get 2 years free tuition. Part of that is filling out your FAFSA, which is financial aid, and we'll get to that in a minute. It stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. So it's absolutely free. There are some people that want to take your money, like $25, and they'll do it for you. You don't need that. We can help you. And you would have to attend the EDGE program, which is a 3-week summer course to hone up on your skills in English and math so you can be ready to go into that college level English and math course. California State University, also known as the CSU, there are 23 Cal State schools in California. They offer 4-year degrees, bachelor's, along with master's. There are some doctorate programs, but not all of them have the doctorate program. The application opened last Thursday, October 1st, and it is open until December 4th. December 4th is the deadline, so if you turn it in December 5th, you are out of luck. There are so many students applying that if you don't meet your deadlines from here on out, they say, I'm sorry, try again next time. So it's not like your nice teachers in high school that'll take an assignment late. Those days when you get to college are gone. They want a minimum 2.5 GPA. So if you fall under that, you might want to start at a community college first. A through G classes, they want you to complete your A through G with C's or better. The SAT and ACT, the Cal State system and the UC system for this year have gone test blind, which means not test optional, but test blind. So they will not be looking at your SAT score for admissions. Some of you, that is a great thing. I get it because I'm not a good test taker. So my SAT score was just so-so. It wasn't fabulous. And I would have loved that they didn't look at my test score for admission. But they may look at it for English and math placement. They will also look at your English grade in Miss Hess's class for your English placement and your math grade in the math class that you have senior year. Like College of the Desert, they do have a program. It's EOP for low income first generation. They also will look at historically disadvantaged students in college. So over history, what is the, if students from an economic or from, like if you're Hispanic or African-American or Indian American, those populations are historically disadvantaged in college, so they haven't gone to college. That trend is different now, which I'm happy to say. But you could also apply and be accepted through EOP and get assistance that way. They will look at your extracurricular activities as well as community service. If you were in like AVID or if you took AP or HP or dual enrollment classes. So you get points. They're not going to look at SAT or ACT, like I said, but it's an overall, they look at the student overall, and then they assign points to the different areas, and that's how they come to their admissions decisions. This is what is impaction, and just so you know, many of our the schools are impacted, which means there's more. That's a good problem to have. There's more students applying actually than there are available spots. So you want to be the best that you can be. So really work hard in your classes this year. We hear over and over, year after year, oh, senior year doesn't matter. Oh, yes, it does matter. You're competing against not everyone not just in California, but nationally. And now there are so many international students that want to come to our colleges because they're great in California, that you're competing against them as well. Just do the best you can is what I'm saying. The University of California system, there are 9 undergraduate campuses. The graduate campus is San Francisco, so you cannot apply to San Francisco straight out of high school, but all the other 9 you can. They're 4-year degree programs traditionally. I took 5. I don't know how long it took Mr. Ramirez, or Miss Hess, but traditionally they're 4-year programs, and they do offer master's and doctorate degrees. They want a minimum of 3.0 GPA, but please keep in mind that the most competitive schools, for example, UCLA, UC Berkeley, those schools, their average GPA of incoming ninth graders, I am so sorry, freshmen you start over, but you're not ninth graders, you're 13th graders, has been over a 4.0. So just keep that in mind if you want to apply to those schools. They'll be looking at the whole student. So I'm not saying you can't get in, but because long ago I said, oh, you're not going to get in. I don't think you're going to get in with that. And voila, they get in. So, and vice versa. I think, oh, they're a shoo-in. They're going to get in, no problem. And they don't. So it's just, it changes every year what the colleges want or what they're looking for. So just be all you can be. Again, test blind for the UC schools. A through G classes with C's or better, but if you have all C's, your GPA is math, you math wizards out there, it's at 2.0. So you wouldn't get in if you had the minimum, which is C's or better in your H through G classes. Now UC requires that you write on your application. So they give you 9, look at them as short answer questions. They're called personal insight questions. You choose 4 and you answer those 4. And what I'd like to encourage you to do is do not waste those personal insight questions. What I mean by that, and I like to use baseball because I love baseball. So if you played baseball, let's say for 4 years in high school, or maybe you played baseball all your life, you have already listed that hopefully on your extracurricular activities. So please do not waste it by saying, oh, I've played baseball my whole entire life and 4 years in high school and, you know, I was great. Okay, well, hopefully you've already put that on your extracurricular activity list. So you have just wasted that personal insight question. So you can still write about baseball. You could say, this is what baseball opened my eyes to this, or maybe it connected you to the community service organization, Baseball Buddies, where you would go and help mentally and physically challenged kids and adults learn how to play the game of baseball. So what has baseball taught you, instead of listing again, I played baseball for 4 years, if that makes sense. We think it's so important, and Riverside County thinks it's so important that you do well with these insight questions, that this Friday, I know that there is a workshop, a writing workshop, and since you don't have class, it's a great thing to sign up for. By the end of that session, you will have your personal insight questions basically done. So we have put that on our class of 2021 Google Classroom. So go to there and sign up for that writing workshop. And also, I know we're going to be talking about private schools as well. Private schools a lot of times ask for you to write an essay as well. So you can jump on that. It is not free, but it is free to you. Riverside County is paying for all of our students who want to attend to go. That's how important they feel it is to help you get to college. So take advantage of that. The application period is open November 1st through November 30th. And I do see do we have something in the chat? Oh, just good morning. Okay. Me or you, Mr. Ramirez?
Had to let someone in. Okay, so now we have private and out-of-state colleges. So we looked at the CSU, UC, and the community college system, but you know, there's other options out there too. So private universities, you know, one in particular that is pretty popular and it's nearby is the University of Redlands. These are 4-year universities that also offer bachelor's, master's, and doctoral programs. So if you're interested in those. And then the thing about the private and out-of-state colleges is this is when it's really important to have that college list and know which colleges you're looking at applying to, because for private and out-of-state, their application dates and deadlines differ from what the CSUs and the UCs ask for. You know, so some of them are in December, some of them are in February. And so it's really important that you start looking at those. And when we meet for your senior evaluation, we can help you with that. Many of these private universities use what's known as the Common App, the Common Application. So it's kind of like the CSU application and the UC application, where you get to go to one hub and then apply to multiple schools, right? So it sends all your information out to the different private universities that have partnered with Common App, and it saves you a lot of time. And so this is a great thing to be able to use. And a lot of out-of-state colleges also use it. Now, something to note is that they do tend to ask for letters of recommendation. So those brag sheets that you've been working on, you know, it's really important to have those filled out, and try to give your recommender at least 2 weeks notice to write that letter of recommendation. I mean, we want to write a good letter for you, and the more time that we have, then the better letter that we can write for you. So start looking for recommenders. I know teachers get bombarded with students asking. It's not that they're not willing, it's just give them, so that's the reason we ask you to give them time to do so, okay? Same with folks that are not teachers, you know, if they're your pastors or some community member that you're asking for a letter of recommendation. So keep that in mind. Brag sheets are wonderful because it helps us broaden what we want to say, you know. We might be able to capture something that we didn't know about you. There's also the WUI system, so the Western Undergraduate Exchange. So this is a great opportunity for students that are willing to venture out of California. This offers you a reduced tuition for you to be able to go to schools like that are in Nevada or in Idaho. So some really cool things if you're willing to branch out. And some of you I know really want to. So look into the Western Undergraduate Exchange. I got stuck. Now, we keep talking about college lists and knowing what's out there. So one of the things that we majors are a big deal. So figure out what your major is going to be, and then being able to figure out what school is actually going to be able to offer that program that you want to study. And California Colleges is a great resource to do that. Every student at Desert Sands has an account. It's free. You don't have to pay for it. If you need help navigating it, we're here to help you. They have career inventories. And so what's great about that is, it takes your interest in mind, and it says, hey, it matches like with careers that might align with those interests. And then from there, you start figuring out, okay, what schools offer those programs. And the cool thing about California Colleges is also you can link up the CSU application to this, and it automatically transfers your coursework over onto that application, and it saves you a lot of time. So definitely look into that. There's also vocational schools. So Mrs. Morton talked about a COD offering a lot of certificate programs, which are really great and they're affordable. But some of you may want to venture out to a different school. So like I mentioned, UTI is coming. That's a vocational school. So if you want to get into the automobile industry, body work, engine work, all that good stuff, UTI is a great school for that, and it's really well known. So if you want to apply to those schools, know that their admissions and deadlines are different than the CSU. So it's really important to start looking at those. But there are some great schools for culinary. So if you want to get into, becoming a chef, fashion design, art, computers, all that stuff. But the most important thing when you look at a vocational school is to make sure that they're accredited. You want to make sure that they are being recognized as a legitimate institution. So that way, when you get your certificate of completion, it means that when you go to your employer, like, okay, it's like your diploma in WASC, right? So now it has a stamp of approval, like we're good to go. And it has more, oh my God, why am I blanking this morning? It's just a legit program. So it's gonna benefit you. There's also the military. So right now, our recruiters are still meeting with students. So if you're interested in joining the military, we highly encourage you to reach out to your counselor so that we can connect you with a recruiter. Normally they'd be on campus and they'd be able to call you out of class. But as of right now, they're meeting with students virtually. So depending on which branch you want, let us know, and then we'll reach out to that recruiter. So, we know that the military is out there and it's a great benefit to you. You can earn college credit while you are enlisted. There's also the GI Bill and tuition assistance. So when you graduate, it helps you pay for your education. So again, just email us for your counselor for recruiter information. Why is it always blocked? This is where I'm going to let Mrs. Morton talk about our student athletes.
Okay, any student athletes out there? I can't see your screen, so if you're raising your hand, go ahead and raise it. I can't see it, but if you want to continue playing your sport in college, you must register with the NCAA Eligibility Center. Right now, I just ran a report yesterday again. Right now, we only have 6 seniors in the whole senior class that have registered with the NCAA. So what that tells me is you either don't know that you need to do that, or you're dragging your feet, or there's only 6 athletes on campus that want to continue to play Division I, Division II in college. Just so you know, athletes, this Saturday, October 10th at 8 a.m., there is a video webinar, and it's going to tell you everything that you need to do to go to the next level. I know a little bit about this. I played softball in college. My son played baseball at UCLA. My daughter is currently a gymnast at Boise State. And just because we all played didn't mean that we all got scholarships, because we didn't. Scholarships are really pretty special. Most sports are not 100% scholarships, just so that you know. But schools can give a partial scholarship for athletics, and then they can give you athletic or academic scholarship as well. So yes, my son was a walk-on, a true walk-on. He begged the coach, he bothered the coach. The coach said, no, 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 you're too small. And finally he talked them into getting a tryout, and they actually kept him at UCLA, which is unheard of. So just because you haven't, or a coach hasn't connected with you yet, doesn't mean that you're not going to be playing sports in college. Division III is also a great way to go. Division III, they do not give athletic scholarships, but they do give academic scholarships. So look at Division III as a student who also plays a sport. Whereas Division I and II, a lot of times, is an athlete that's going to college. So there's also a smaller division of schools with another clearinghouse called NAIA. They do give athletic scholarships. They tend to be smaller schools, but you might want to check those schools out at naia.org. And if you decide to go to those schools and play, you would have to register with the NAIA as well. But do not forget, this Saturday, it's on Twitter. So go to Twitter to athletics, and October 10th at 8 a.m. you want to jump on there so that you can get all the information that you need. There's different kinds of financial aid. There's grants and scholarships, which are free. It's free money that you don't have to pay back, which is very cool. So in order to get all of these, actually, you should apply for the FAFSA. Again, it's free application for federal student aid, so it is free. The window is open now. It opened last Thursday. Don't fret if you haven't, don't worry if you haven't filled it out yet. My own children have not filled it out yet, so we're gonna be doing that together this week. There's also work study. So when you go to college, if you qualify for work study, which is having a job on campus, it's very awesome because you get a job on campus, they work around your class schedule, which is nice. And also the money that you make, I think that you can make up to $4,000 and not have to claim it the next year on your taxes. So that's why that's part of financial aid. And then you can use the money how you wish. They're hoping that you use it on school. And then there's most students, just so you know, have to borrow money. It's a bummer, and I get it. We have to do that too. So there are different kinds of loans that you can get: subsidized, unsubsidized, and Parent Plus. Obviously, the Parent Plus loan is a loan that your parents are taking out on your behalf, and they are the ones that have to pay it back. Subsidized and unsubsidized. Subsidized just means that you don't have to pay off your loan until 6 months after you get your degree. So that's a good deal as well, because they are banking on that you will have a job and you'll have income, so you'll be able to pay off that loan. This is probably the best loan, if you're going to take out a loan, that you can take out, except for your house, because you need a place to live. But because it's going to pay dividends in the end. So say you want to buy a car and you take out a loan to buy that car. The minute you drive off the lot, it depreciates, which means it doesn't have the value that it had when you bought it, when it was sitting on the lot. Your education, the more education that you have, the more money you're going to make in your career, in your job. So just know, and most of us have to take out loans for education.
need to let someone in. Do want to indicate that, like Ms. Morden said, it all starts with FAFSA or the DREAM Act. The deadline is March 2nd. And next week, we will be having a FAFSA and California DREAM Act workshop on Wednesday during flex time. So if you're looking forward to getting that taken care of, if you need help, if you've already started and you get stuck, that would be the perfect time to jump in. And like I said, Mrs. Morden and I will be doing the workshops then. But even beyond that, between now and March, we will definitely hold more FAFSA and California DREAM Act workshops. But again, I highly encourage you to be checking your email and the Counseling Google Classroom so that you're aware of when we hold those. The other important part, Mrs. Morton talked about the grants. So for California actually has grant money that they award students. But in order for you to claim it, you will have to make sure you create an account at Web Grants for students after you submit the FAFSA or the California DREAM Act, okay? So that you can see your award status and then eventually claim it. And you actually have to, after May, when you commit to a school, you have to indicate what school you're gonna go to. So don't forget that component. But again, next Wednesday, we'll hold the workshop for this, and I hope you take advantage of that. There's also the Pell Grant, which is federal money so that you could be awarded up to $6,345, depending on your expected family contribution. Okay, so that's based on your financial need. And again, it all starts with FAFSA though. There's different grants. So there's the Cal Grant A, and it's based off of GPA, as you can see. And so if you go to UC, you can get up to $12,570. Or if you go to CSU, $5,742. And even if you're going to go to a private school, they'll also assist you there by earning or by being able to get a grant up to $9,000. Okay. And then there's Cal Grant C. This isn't about attached to your GPA. It's really about if you're going to be going to a trade school like UTI or a community college like COD. Okay. Scholarships, that's a big one. I've been in senior evaluations and students are asking, what could I do for scholarships? So one of the things that we highly encourage you to complete is your senior portfolio. Mrs. Munoz did attach that onto our class of 2021 Google Classroom. It's under an assignment. So once you're done with that, make sure you turn it in. And then we're going to be able to use those senior portfolios to help you get scholarship money from local community members, okay? So last year we gave out quite a bit. In the past we have 2. And so this is a great opportunity for you. And that senior portfolio is due January 29th, okay? So you have plenty of time, but please don't procrastinate. And again, if you need help, let us know, reach out to your counselor. It does ask for letters of recommendation. So again, try to give your recommender 2 weeks notice for that. There's other online scholarship searches though that are also helpful, like FastWeb, scholarships.com, and there's Unigo. So there's some really good resources out there for you to get. The one thing we advise you to make sure of is that if there's a service that's asking you to pay for a scholarship, don't do it. Okay, remember these are institutions that are supposed to be giving you free money, so they shouldn't be asking you for a fee. So make sure you're mindful of that. Please check your email regularly. Remember, college and universities will communicate through your email, and we advise you to try to use a personal email, not your MyDS account, because once you graduate, you're going to lose access to your MyDS account. But be very mindful that you need to be checking your emails very regularly, as Mrs. Morton indicated. Those deadlines are very, very important because of impaction. So many students are applying that they're going to be making sure that you are being held accountable to those deadlines. So create a to-do list if you need to try to check things off, right? Things that you need for each university. They're going to be asking you to set up their own portals. So kind of like a Google Classroom, but a little bit more complex. So it's really cool stuff that you're able to get information through those portals. Make sure that you're maintaining C's and above in your classes. Remember the English class, if you're A through G eligible right now, you still need, especially your English class for sure, both semesters to be A through G. If because universities can rescind their offers. Okay. And if you get waitlisted, say yes, because you never know. Mrs. Morden can eventually say, you know what, I'm going to go to this school instead of the school that all these other schools that I applied to. And then you can be up on that admissions list now. So say yes. And at the end of the day, remember, you will need to accept an offer of attendance by May 1st for CSUs and CSUs, and be mindful of the private and out-of-state colleges and what their deadlines are. And we talked about virtual fairs. There's some virtual college fairs that are coming up next Monday, October 12th. There's even some on the weekend. So if that works better in your schedule, please sign up and check out what other schools are offering. Remember, there's great opportunities in California with CSUs and UCs, but maybe there's something else that will pique your interest out of state or even with a private school. So check those out. There's some great schools out there and they might be the right fit for you. I want to thank Ms. Hess again for allowing us to be here. Thank you, Coach Tamble, for also joining us, and Mrs. Morden for helping me out. And students, again, reach out to us, your counselors.
Ms. Higby's here too.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. And so reach out to us if you need anything. I know our caseloads change, but if you need to reach out to Mrs. Morden and you really need me, she'll forward me that email, or if she wants to, she can help you too. So we're here to help.
I have a final things that I forgot. Cal State San Bernardino is our local Cal State, and they're offering 2 Cal State workshops to get your Cal State applications complete. I didn't say that. I'm sorry about that. It is on the Class of 2021 website, Google Classroom. If you sign up for those, you will have your Cal State applications done. So please, if they're free, you don't have to want to go to San Bernardino to attend. You can apply to any Cal State through that. Please go. And also, I just wanted to say that if you narrow down your search, that's going to save you time and money, because every application costs $70 for Cal State and for UC. So you might qualify for a fee waiver. The counselors do not have fee waivers. The fee waivers for those 2 UC and Cal State schools are specifically directly from the application. So whatever you put on that application at the end, I say everybody try it, say apply for a fee waiver and see what happens. They could say no, okay, then I'm going to pay for my college, the application. But if they say yes, you get 4 colleges for free, 4 Cal States and 4 UCs. So I say everybody try that button, say yes, you want to apply for a fee waiver, and see if you get it. So I didn't mention that before. So there's lots of opportunities. Go to your Class of 2021 classroom, sign up for the writing workshop, excuse me, sign up for the FAFSA workshop on Wednesday, we're doing those, and then sign up for Cal State application workshop.